Putting your hands together, shoulders even, body relaxed, head bowed in reverence. अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। मन्नाथ श्री जगन्नाथः मद्गुरु श्री जगद्गुरु मदात्मा सर्वभूतात्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव त्वमेव सर्वं गुरुदेव जय जय जगदम्ब शिवे जय जय कामाक्षि जय जयाद्रिसुते जय जय महेशदयिते जय जय चिद्गगनकौमुदीधारे कारणपरचिद्रूपा काञ्चीपुरसीम्नि कामपीठगता काचन विहरति करुणा काश्मीरस्तबककोमलाङ्गलता। श्रीदत्तं शरणं मम, श्रीदत्तं शरणं मम। जगन्माता पाहि मां, पाहि मां, पाहि मां। So last satsang, we realized there is no more discussion, there is no more knowing. These are all realizations. So last satsang we realized to be able to sit here and to be able to listen to Lalita Sahasranama, to be able to listen to Tripura Rahasya is no coincidence, is not just one-off happening in the universe. Because we heard the story of Haritayan Rishi or Sumedha, what all he went through to become eligible to receive Diksha from his Guru, which is Parshuramji Maharaj, to actually imbibe all the knowledge and to give us in the form of Tripura Rahasya. So, this chalta hai attitude, or this attitude of everything is just happening, we need to quit right now, urgently. Because it is not a one-off fleeting incidents happening in the creation, which, by the way, there is no coincidence, there is no bas aise ho gaya. Everything is pre-planned. Everything is carefully created by the Creator. in himself or in herself. So this word that we so loosely use, oh, it just happened. Luckily it happened. Coincidentally, I was also thinking about the same thing. Oh, today I happened to chance upon this blog post of Swamiji. All this is somewhere we are not grateful. Nothing is happening by coincidence. Nothing is happening just by chance. Nothing is happening by luck. Nothing is happening by accident. Accidentally I came upon this. As I said, the self within is the self without. Everything happening is designed perfectly by the self within, so it can be brought to your attention outside, so you can take care of it. Nothing is an accident. So let us be extra mindful, because our language is deeply flawed, and we are taught this language from the very beginning. So let us first drop these set of words that intend to mean that something just happened just by itself. No. So let us drop that and let us continue with our realizations, because Tripura Rahasya, through Dattatreya Ji Maharaj, it came to Parshuram Ji, from Parshuram to Sumedha, from Sumedha to us. No, from Sumedha to Asmadacharya Paryantam, this Guru Parampara. It starts from Narayana Samarambha Vyasa Shankara Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Shri Guru Paramparam. It came from Narayan in the Datta avatar, and then Parshuram Ji Maharaj, then Sumedha, and many other rishis, many other gurus, to Asmadacharya, to my own Guru, and from the grace of my Guru, it is flowing. So the only reason I'm here fearlessly, no guilt, no problems, no stress, no tension, is because I know who is leading this, who is talking through this puppet, this instrument called Anu. So with this, let us continue. So Sumedha, Haritayan Rishi, is narrating Tripura Rahasya to Narad Rishi. That is the setting. And before he starts narrating the incidents in the life of his Guru, he says two things. He says, and from here on we can start reading the book, not right now, later. You can start reading the first chapter. He says, now I will expound to you the glories of Ma Lalita Tripur Sundari, of Jagan Mata, hearing which you will be forever relieved from grief. First thing. Second thing he says, and the conviction with which I am going to be narrating this Tripura Rahasya, let me tell you, the most difficult Brahma Gyan has been given, has been served very, very nicely with some stories and anecdotes. It has been made very easy by the grace of Dattatreya Ji Maharaj. Listening to this, for sure, one will become free of all bondage. One will become self-realized. If someone, after listening to this, doesn't gain knowledge, such a person cannot be helped by anyone in these three worlds. So it's a warning for us. So we better be serious. No. The meaning of this will continue to unfold. We don't need to understand right now what Sumedha means to say. Let it unfold gently. But these are the two things he says to Narad Rishi before he starts expounding. First, I will now expound to you the glories of the Divine Mother, listening to which you will be forever freed from grief. And the second thing, if after listening to Tripura Rahasya you don't gain knowledge, nothing and no one in these three worlds can help you. And he didn't mean to say this to Narad Rishi. These are the two things that were told to him by Parshuramji Maharaj. So he's just narrating as is. To be able to even narrate as is without adding your own masala. Because remember, the masala is added by the mind. All the upasana, all the sadhana is to lose the mind. So you are as is, a puppet in the hands of divine. And then you speak whatever the divine wants you to speak. It says the internet connection is unstable. I hope you all can still hear me. Jagan Mata Pahi Maam. Jagan Mata Pahi Maam. Jagan Mata Pahi Maam. So when the mind is empty, the divine within speaks, performs. The show of this creation is performed effortlessly by the divine because there is no interference in between. And then he starts narrating the story of Parshuramji Maharaj to begin with. How Parshuramji Maharaj, what was he before and how he became a Brahmagyani. All the incidents. Parshuramji Maharaj, as you know, was one of the Dashavatar of Shri Vishnu. Narayan's one of the avatar is Parshuramji Maharaj. Narayan's or Vishnu's rage or Avesh, I don't know what is the right word, but Avesh avatar is Parshuram. Avesh is not just rage, but the desire to establish dharma, the desire to remove or destroy all the evil forces. That is Avesh. So that Avesh of Narayan, when it took form, it is Parshuramji Maharaj. So true to his avatar, initially he got involved 21 times in killing all the Kshatriyas that ruled the earth. He killed Kshatriyas 21 times. After he was done killing, after that Avesh within him, which was the Ansh of Narayan, was expressed. So Parshuramji Maharaj had actually two things from Narayan, Avesh and anger. Two things. Because anger propelled the Avesh to remove, to destroy these Kshatriyas. So he did that 21 times. After doing that 21 times, the Avesh within him was completely annihilated. And then he said to himself, I have conquered the entire earth. I'm the only sole ruler of this entire earth. But I don't need this. So he gave the entire earth, all of his kingdom, which was the entire earth, to Kashyap Rishi. He offered it all to Kashyap Rishi. After offering it all to Kashyap Rishi, he begged for alms. And in that he said, give me a small piece of land where I can be and do my tapas. Not to rule, but just a small piece of land to do my tapas. So Kashyap Rishi gave him a small piece of land, which is where his ashram was, and that is where he started doing his tapas. And why did he do his tapas? Because it's like a surgeon performing a surgery. In anticipation or in anticipation of some kind of bacterial infection that may pursue, he is given prophylactic antibiotics. Antibiotics before the surgery is given or after, right? The antibiotics are going to prevent any kind of infection from arising. So although he killed those 21 times, he killed the Kshatriyas, although he did it to establish dharma, there was some amount of phal of that karma. I don't want to use the word sin. Again, as I said, our language is deeply flawed. He had accumulated some phal of that karma. So, and he knew the only way to remove this phal is to do tapas. So he started doing ghor tapasya. What he did? Yagya, tap, dan, dharma, all of those kinds. He started doing all of that in tapas. All of the phal that he had accumulated, all of the fruits that he had accumulated through killing the Kshatriyas 21 times were all removed. And now the tapas was adding on. But he continued his tapas and his yagya. It was adding on to his good karmas. All the good karmas through his tapas continued to build. And he accumulated a lot of Divya lokas. What are Divya lokas? Divya lokas are not just planes of existence, you go and you come back. They are just bhumikas that you experience with your subtle bodies. You experience a state of anand, you experience a state of bliss because of those lokas, Divya lokas. So he accumulated a lot of Divya lokas. He continued to do his tapas and he was accumulating a lot of Divya lokas. One day, while in his tapas, he realized that someone had broken the Shiv Dhanush, the bow of Lord Shiva. That instantly broke his tapas. And he set out all over again. Who broke? Who on this earth? Because I have killed all the Kshatriyas. Who broke the Dhanush or the bow of Lord Shiva? To find that out, he went and he met with Sri Ram after he broke the bow. He asked Sri Ram, "Did you break the bow?" He said, "Yes, I broke the bow." He said, there is no lying about it because I see it broken. I have a dhanush of Narayan. I want to see if you can put the string on it. If you can lift it and put the string on it. And then Parshuram challenged Sri Ram to lift the Vishnu Dhanush, Narayan Dhanush, and put the string on it. So Sri Ram did that. He put the string on the Dhanush. And as soon as Parshuramji Maharaj saw that Sri Ram lifted the bow effortlessly and put the Dhanush, because only Narayan himself can lift the bow. And he not only lifted it, he put the string on it. And then he aimed and he asked Parshuram, "I am Satyavachan, Satyavrati and Satya Parakrami," which means when I speak the truth. I spoke the truth to you that I broke that Dhanush. And then I'm also Satya Parakrami, which means if I put an arrow on my bow, it has to go somewhere. It has to hit something. Now that I have an arrow on this bow, what do you want me to do with it? Where do you want me to release it? Parshuramji Maharaj couldn't say, "Oh, release it on that tree or release it in that ocean," because nothing belonged to him. He said, "You have to tell me where do I release this arrow? It can only be released to something that you own. You cannot ask me to put it to this tree or somewhere else." Without thinking even a second, Parshuramji Maharaj fell at Sri Ram's feet and he said, "I have performed lot of tapas and I have accumulated lot of good karma, a lot of Divya lokas. O great one, take your arrow and destroy all of my good karma. Destroy it all. Destroy all the punya lokas, Divya lokas that I have accumulated." True to his words, Sri Ram led the arrow, and all the punya karmas, all the Divya lokas, all the punyas, all the good, the heavens, if you want to call it that way, were all destroyed. He did prostrations to Sri Ram and he set out, Parshuramji Maharaj. Now, This might just seem like a story. Now he's walking. But this time, as he's walking, he is empty. All the parakram that he used, all the valor that he showed with his bodily efforts was winning all the land, the entire earth, which he gave it away to Kashyap Rishi. And then all the tapas he had done, he had accumulated a lot of punya karmas. That he gave it away to the arrow of Sri Ram. And now he was walking completely empty. Completely empty. There was one more thing that happened. When he had the Vishnu Dhanush or the bow, and he gave it to Sri Ram, when Sri Ram took that bow, he took the anger out of him. Because that anger was his ansh in him. Anger and avesh. Both of those. Avesh was expressed by killing the Kshatriyas, and the anger was taken up while he took the bow. So now Parshuramji was just walking, bare, nothing with him. No worldly possessions, no heavenly possessions. Iha and bhog. Iha is worldly possessions that we possess. And then the punya karmas that we keep doing. Oh, let me do some random acts of kindness. Let me do some good to him. Let me do some yagyas. Let me do some danas. Let me do this. All the punya karmas, that also were gone. And now he was walking empty. Stripped off of everything. He was just walking. And in that, as he was walking, he saw. Remember, Parshuramji Maharaj was not like you and me. He was already a yogi. He had already written Parshuram Dharma Shastras. He had already composed many scriptures. He was already a person who had a very subtle drishti towards everything. So as he was walking away, he saw someone who was completely naked, mud and dirt all over him, hair all crazy, looked like a mad person, looked like someone who's totally cuckoo, looked like a mad person walking away. But you and I probably would have just dismissed him saying, oh, he looks like some homeless mad person. But Parshuramji Maharaj saw the tejas, saw the tejas in him, and he ran to him. As Parshuramji Maharaj was approaching this person, the person started throwing small stones at him to shoo him away. But Parshuramji Maharaj was pulled by the tejas in him, and he kept following him, and he kept saying, Swami, wait, don't run away. Prabhu, I want to talk to you. So he waited for a second and he sat down. As he sat down, Parshuramji Maharaj folded his hands and he asked, who are you? Who are you? Please tell me, who are you? The other person, who was Samvrit Rishi. Samvrit Rishi looked at Parshuramji Maharaj and he said, you're asking me who are you? What am I supposed to answer? When you ask me who are you, what is that you? Are you asking my body? Looking at my body, who are you? You can already see my body. What's there to ask? But if you say, no, I'm asking who are you? That which I cannot see. Anyway, you cannot see. What do you care? Why are you asking me? But let's say if you're asking me who are you, as in what is my name, that name also is completely impermanent. Let's say my name is Ram. But people in the village say, oh, have you seen Ram? Which Ram? The fat one or the dark one or the one with crazy hair? Which Ram? So my name, Ram, is also impermanent. Because although my name is Ram, people are calling me, oh, the fat Ram, oh, or the dark Ram, or the Ram with the curly hair, or Ram with the crazy hair. My name also is impermanent. Tell me, What do you want me to answer? When you ask me, who are you? What do you want me to say? If you just be silent for a second right now, listening to these questions posed by Samvrit Rishi to Parshuram, how do you feel within? Exactly the same way Parshuramji, his Vak, Buddhi and Paurush, which is his speech, his mind or his intelligence, and his body became still, became numb. He was in shock. For a few seconds, he remained like that. And then he fell at the feet of this Avdhut, of this Samvrit Rishi. He held it tight, shedding tears. He said, now I know that I don't know anything. Now I know how ignorant I am. Help me understand, help me. And he cried. We are so quick in posing questions. Oh, I have a question, Swamiji. I have a question. From which point does that question emerge? Does it emerge from the point where Parshuramji Maharaj was? I know what I don't know. I know that I don't know anything. I'm ignorant. Do we ask question from that standpoint? Or do we ask questions saying, let me keep thinking, let me seem important, let me seem like I know. Let me ask these questions. I'll look very intelligent. I'll look like, oh, great question, Anu, you asked such a great question. From which standpoint are we asking? In this short incident, we saw both standpoints. First, Parshuramji Maharaj asking, who are you? And Samvrit Rishi answering, who are you asking? Who are you? That you. Who? What are you asking? The body? You can see it. What's there to ask? Are you asking that which you cannot see? Anyway, you can't see. What's there to ask? Are you asking the name? The name itself is impermanent. What do you want to know? And then Parshuramji Maharaj realized, because his Vak Buddhi Paurushaha Stambhitaha, he became stabdho bhavati, absolutely still. He experienced a short spurt of samadhi. We all did too. Oh my God, what are we supposed to answer to this? That split second of when your Vak, Buddhi and Paurusha, which means body, mind, intellect, completely becomes still. That's samadhi. We all experienced it. And then he fell at his feet, shedding tears of ignorance, saying, I don't know. Now I know that I don't know anything. I'm ignorant. Give me this knowledge. Tell me. How come you and I, we didn't meet an Avdhut like this? Because to meet, as in Vivek Chudamani, Adi Shankaracharya says, to meet a Sadguru is ati durlabh. Only when you have done lot of good karma, you meet a Sadguru. You meet a Guru. So Parshuram's life, he had done lot of good karma. But then he didn't meet Samvrit Rishi when he was doing tapas on that piece of land. He didn't meet Samvrit Rishi. He was busy in his tapas. When he gave up all of his worldly attachments, when he gave up all of his punyalokas, when he was stripped off of everything, that's when he met Samvrit Rishi. And I don't want to say he met. Samvrit Rishi appeared to him because it was the grace of the self within. It was the grace of the Divine Mother. It was the grace of Sri Hari. It was the grace alone. It is grace alone that we meet Sadguru. So because he was in that state of mind, he met this Avdhut. Why did, when Shuka Rishi, Shuka Yogendra, who narrated the entire Bhagavad, when he was walking, he was also an Avdhut. Kids were throwing stones at him because he looked like a madman, completely naked, filled with dirt and filth. Kids in villages was throwing stones at him. But as he was walking, only one person recognized him, which is Parikshit Maharaj. He fell at his feet. He said, I have just few days left. I have very few days left. Yes, indeed, it is the blessed fortune. May I request that you don't send any messages in between. It pops up and it disturbs the flow. Karana parachidrupa Kanchi purasimni kamapithagata Kachana viharati karuna Kashmirastabaka komalangalata. Jagannmata pahima, Jagannmata pahima, Jagannmata pahima. So when Shuka Yogendra was walking, only Parikshit Maharaj recognized him. Not because Parikshit Maharaj was someone special, because the self, the divine, had taken the sankalp of blessing Parikshit. That's why an Avdhut like Shuka Yogendra, who looks like a madman, he is just happy. They don't bow down to anyone, they don't bless anyone, they don't stay in one place more than 3 seconds. Such a Avadhut sat down for 7 days and expounded Bhagavatam. Because it was Parikshit Maharaj's punya karmas. It was the grace of the divine. So when Parshuramji Maharaj fell at Samvrit Rishi's feet and he said, now I know what I don't know. Now I know that I don't know anything. My ignorance is burning me. Please help me. At that point, Samvrit Rishi said, now I'll tell you who I am. And then he said, I belong to the Angiras Gotra. I am the brother of Brahaspati. I too, like you, had a lot of issues with my brother. And in that resentment towards my brother, I also did a lot of bad stuff, if you want to call it that way. But then, eventually, by the grace of my Guru, I attained this Brahma Gyan. And since then, I'm happy. I'm completely grief-free. Hearing this, Parshuramji Maharaj held at his feet tightly. He said, give it to me, please. Give it to me. He said, I'll tell you. He said, the question you posed, who are you? That feeling of you, that feeling of I, that alone is the entire creation. Apart from that, there is nothing in this world. That I that is within you, that feeling of I, that is your Atma. That alone is everywhere. When it is outside you, it is called Brahma. When it is inside you, it is called Atma. You don't need to break your body to realize that Atma and Brahma are one continuum in this creation. It's like a pot. The space in the pot and the space outside, they are one and the same. But the space in the pot is called the Atma, and the space outside the pot is called Brahma. You don't need to break that pot, Parshuram, to understand that the space within is the same as the space without. So this perspective that you have, Parshuram, that you look at this creation, know that this entire creation is like an image in a mirror, and that mirror is the I. And that I is Sat Chit Anand. That I is the only Satya Vastu. That Anand, that Sat, that Atma, that I is the only true permanent thing. Everything else is an image. And that image, like if you look at a mirror has to have some object to reflect something. But this Chit, which is that mirror, is Swayam Prakashit. It doesn't need any Adhar. It doesn't need any foundation. It is by itself. And that Chit expresses all of these names and forms that you see around you. All of these names and forms are nothing but images appearing in that vast mirror of Chaitanya. You, Parshuram, have to give up the drishti of seeing the names and forms. You have to give up the perspective of seeing the names and forms, and you have to train yourself to see that which holds all these names and forms. That which holds all the names and forms is your true self, is that feeling of I am, the feeling of I. When you realize the I within, you automatically will realize everything around you is the same I. You alone exist, Parshuram. You alone exist. Listening to this, people like you and I would say, oh, I get it now. That's not what Parshuramji Maharaj said. He again held on to the feet of Samrit Rishi. He said, whatever you're saying appears, sounds like it is very high knowledge, but I don't understand any of this. I don't understand what you're saying. Explain to me better. I want to know. I'm not able to understand. And that's Satyavachan. We are so quick in saying, I get it now. Oh, I get it. Because the mind is still alive. Everything the mind wants to take. Okay, so the I is the same as outside. There is a mirror. It shows everything. Oh, I get it. But remember, when Parshuramji Maharaj met Samrit Rishi, he was stripped off of everything. Not only that, when Samrit Rishi re-questioned him back, when he answered Parshuramji Maharaj's question with bunch of questions, the state that he was in Samadhi, when his Vak, Buddhi, Paurusha was completely stambhit, he was completely still. He couldn't think further, he couldn't move, he couldn't do anything. In that state, Samrit Rishi gave him this Brahma Gyan. So when he heard all of this, he could only speak the truth, which was, I don't realize it that way. I don't experience it that way. Yes, whatever you're saying, it makes sense. It sounds like something very high, but I don't experience it that way. Oh, Great One, help me experience this. Samrit Rishi at that point said, Parshuram, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you a little story about myself. Once upon a time, I was walking in a valley full of wild animals, full of thorns along the way, fires here and there, people attacking. That was very, very tough, that journey that I was doing. But then by divine grace, someone came to me and said, no, don't walk this way. I'll show you a better, safer way. And then I walked that way. I started walking that way. But I could continuously see people who were still on the other way. I tried telling them, but they didn't listen. I saw them suffering and I kept telling them there is this better way. But they didn't listen. Similarly, Parshuram, what you're experiencing is walking on that way. There is a better way. My job is not to tell you how to walk that path. My job here is just to be that person who tells you, hey, listen, there is another way. Do you want to walk that way? Out of 100 people walking that painful way, one will say, yes, is there another way? Show me the other way. My job is only to tell you that there is another way. You can walk peacefully, happily, gleefully. That's the only job I do. Are you willing to walk that way? He again held his feet and he said, yes, Swami, show me that way. He said, now that you are willing to know what the other path is, now I will direct you where to go. He said, this knowledge was given to me by my Guru, Dattatreya Maharaj. I want you to go. Go to Dattatreya. He is your Guru. I'm telling you this. He is your Guru. He will guide you. My job is only to give direction and my job is done. Saying this, Samrit Rishi took off and flew away. He didn't walk, he flew away. Parshuramji Maharaj was taken over by grief, because to meet a Sadguru and then to part ways, to go away, to leave their presence, we all have felt what a painful thing it is. And with that pain, he started walking towards the Gandhamadi Parvat, which is where Dattatreya Maharaj would be. That was told to him by Samrit Rishi. So with this Vedana, with this grief that I don't know, I'm so ignorant, and now I had the chance to meet an Avadhut, a self-realized master, but I couldn't understand. With this grief, he started walking towards Gandhamadi Parvat, which is the cave where Dattatreya Maharaj was. As he entered the cave, he saw Dattatreya Maharaj was seated, and on his lap was seated a lady whom he was loving. And there was another lady close to him who was serving him alcohol, wine. So with one hand he was drinking wine, and the other hand he was loving this woman who was in his lap. As soon as Dattatreya Maharaj saw Parshuram, he said, oh Parshuram, you're here. I've been expecting you. You are such a great yogi, Parshuram. You have given all that you won in the battle to Kashyap. You even gave away all your punya lokas to Sri Ram. You are so detached. You are so great. Look at me, Parshuram. I'm still stuck with women. I cannot get over a woman's company. I cannot get over my own vyasan, my own tendencies of drinking alcohol. What can I do for you, Parshuram? You are so great. Hearing this, Parshuramji Maharaj broke out in tears. He fell at the feet of Dattatreya Maharaj, and without lifting his head, he said, enough testing me, Swami, enough testing me. I am a nobody. I don't know anything. I don't have anything. I haven't won over anything. If a guru praises us, it is the end. If a guru yells at us, you should dance in joy, because the guru is interested in you. He is interested in your well-being. He sees a potential in you. If the Guru says, oh, you're so great, you're doing great things, let us be reminded of these incidents. But Parshuramji Maharaj fell at his feet, shedding tears. He said, no, no more. Don't test me anymore. My ignorance is burning me. I cannot take it anymore. All these things that you say that I am detached, I have won over, all of this, it is all untrue. I am an ignorant fool, oh Master. Swami, help me. Help me understand this Brahmagyan. Seeing this, Dattatreyaji Maharaj was very pleased. He said, Parshuram, get up, sit down. And then Dattatreyaji Maharaj told him, Parshuram, we are all made up of everything that is three states of material nature, 3 states, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, 3 worlds. Everything that you see around, Parshuram, is 3. You are awake, you are dreaming, and you are in deep sleep. But the one thing that remains the same, permanent, is the you, is the I. You say, I am awake. You say, I'm dreaming, I was dreaming, or I dreamt. You say, I went into deep sleep, I slept really well. But remember, sleeping, deep sleep, dream, waking, they're all transitory. Sometimes you're awake, sometimes you're dreaming, sometimes you're asleep. Everything is exactly impermanent. All the 3 states are impermanent. But the permanent thing is you, the I. That I, O Parshuram, is Tripura. That I is Tripura. The same I permeates the 3 states. You are awake. You have been dreaming. You were in deep sleep. So that you doesn't just stay in one place. That you permeates, just like the sun and the rays of the sun. Although the sun is so far away, the rays reach all the way here. Similarly, that Sat Vastu, that permanent true self is your I. That's within you. That the light of that I is like that of the sun. Imagine the sun within you. The sun is the I, and the light is the Chit or the Chaitanya. The light lights up your body. You have a body. The light lights up your thoughts. You have thoughts. The light lights up your desires. You have desires. The light lights up your emotions. You have emotions. That same light flows through your eyes, ears, and lights up this world. You see the world. That sun that's within you is the I, and the light that flows is Chaitanya or Chit, and Anand is to know the Sat and the Chit is all there is. You are nothing but that Sat and Chit is Anand. That Anand is the only quality of the Sat within you. Know this. And then Dattatreyaji Maharaj said, that Chit or that Chaitanya, the rays of the sun, we call as the Divine Mother. Because the Divine Mother flows as Chaitanya to express as the body. The Divine Mother flows as Chaitanya to light up your subtle body, consisting of your emotions, your thoughts, your desires, your expectations. The same Divine Mother, the light, flows through your eyes and lights up this whole world. It is her light. It is the light of Paramatma. It is the light of the Self, which is the Divine Mother, that you see around you. Everything you see is the light, is the Divine Mother. Let me tell you about the Divine Mother. And then Dattatreyaji Maharaj sat down and narrated so many stories of the Divine Mother. How she assumed the form of Ma Durga and killed Mahishasur. How she assumed the form of Tripura Sundari and killed Bhandasur. What did she do for her devotees? What are her attributes? What is her form look like? The entire Parvati Kalyanam, the Daksha Yajna, how she destroyed the Daksha Yajna, how she took form as Ma Parvati, how Shiv Parvati Kalyanam was done. Each and every incident related to the Divine Mother, he narrated. Not just for few minutes, for years and years, Dattatreya Maharaj narrated, which is the Mahatmya Khanda, the glories of the Divine Mother. He heard to his heart's content. In between it is said that as Dattatreya Maharaj would stop, Parshuramji would say, tell me more. I want to hear more. This thirst that I have within me to hear more and more and more about the Divine Mother just doesn't seem to quench. Tell me more. Tell me more. And Dattatreya Maharaj kept telling him. So the first thing Parshuramji Maharaj did was Shravan Yoga. And I was reading Swamiji's blog, The Bondage of Beliefs. In that he narrates a story wherein a businessman has a lot of money. He says, oh, let me just listen to Bhagavatam. And he hires a person and he says, so you're saying if I listen to Bhagavatam, I will become self-realized. Yes, absolutely. Because that's what is said. If you listen to the glories of Paramatma, you will be purified. And in a chitta which is completely pure and shuddha, achieving inner purification alone is the ripe ground for knowledge to rise. So, we will read that blog together eventually. So Dattatreya Maharaj kept narrating the glories of the Divine Mother. So the first thing that he did was listen. Listen about the Divine Mother. Listen to the glories. Listen to what each name of the Divine Mother in Lalita Sahasranam means. How does that? Because Mother has taken up 1,000 attributes not to show us, look how great I am. She is great. But all of those attributes are for us. Because Mother's bhakti, Mother's devotion makes Mother express herself in the devotee. Then the devotee starts experiencing these attributes. Bhavani Bhakta Sukhadayini, Bhakti Gamya Bhakti Vashya, Bhavaka Prachodini. If you don't know how to do the bhavana, if you don't have the bhav for the Divine Mother, she herself will give the bhav. But what is needed? You need to know, you need to hear about her. Shravan Yoga is the first thing we need to do. Listen, listen, listen about her so much that the mind is overflowing with just her thoughts. Paramantra Vibhedini, that's her name. She enters in the devotee's chitta such that all the other mantras are nothing but thoughts. All the other mantras she destroys and she says, now my devotee shall only have my thought. Paramantra Vibhedini. She claims her kingdom. She claims her throne within, saying, nothing else can reside within except for my presence. These are attributes she takes for us. Sarvagnya Sandra Karuna. She is Sarvagnya. She knows it all. The I within knows it all. Sarvagnya Sandra Karuna. Although she knows it all, she is nothing but compassion. Imagine if you know that the other person knows it all. You would be so scared to face that person because you know कि भांडा फूट गया है. The other person, the cat is out of the bag. The other person knows the secrets now. But Sarvagnya Sandra Karuna. She knows it all, yet she is nothing but Karuna. She is nothing but compassion. Never judges. Sarvagnya Sandra Karuna. So like that, Dattatreya Maharaj kept narrating incidents of how she blessed her devotees, of how she assumed various forms to protect the creation, how even killing the asuras is an act of compassion, is an act of kindness for her. Chitte krupa samara nishturata cha drishta Tvayeva devi varade bhuvanatrayepi. When the gods, after the Divine Mother took the Raudra form to kill asuras, when they saw her, they said, Chitte Krupa, Mother, you are nothing but Krupa, you are nothing but grace, but you look so bhishan, you look so angry, yet your eyes, your chit is filled with compassion and grace, nothing else. The asuras that are touched by Mother's weapons, do you think they are going to hell? They are becoming one with her. The asuras that she held with her hands, do you think they are going to hell? If we could be those asuras that get to touch her, that get to feel her touch. So all those asuras became one with her. They didn't go to hell. They were all released from that bondage. They all merged in her. So many incidents like this. He kept narrating and listening. And Tripura Rahasya narrates how he was listening. He was listening with Ananda Vashpa, with tears of devotion he was listening. He couldn't say a word because his throat was choked with devotion. As if he would just say Jagan Mata, he would just completely have a meltdown. All his hair stood on end. Goosebumps all over his. He was with this state. He was listening to the glories of the Divine Mother. And Harita and Rishi describes that it looked as if Anand, the Satchit Anand within had exploded. And after that explosion, what it was expressing through every rome, through every pore of his body, through his eyes as tears, through every pore of his body, he was expressing that divine ecstasy. And with that divine ecstasy, finally he opened his mouth and he said to his Guru, I'm overtaken by devotion. This devotion to the Divine Mother has completely taken over me. O Great One, O Swami, give me the directions. How can I worship her? I want to worship her. I want to express my joy and my gratitude that's blasting within. I want to express this. That's the reason we have to do puja. That's the reason we have to do abhishek. When you are bubbling with that, when you're overflowing with that joy, with that anand within, you don't know what to do. There is some way to express this. That's when you sit down and you do abhishek. That's when you do alankar. That's when you cook for your isht. That's when you sing for your isht. That's when you chant Lalita Sahasranam at the top of your lungs to show what a gratitude and joy I'm filled with, Mother. I want to chant your names. Anything else is just mechanical. And we will go through that as well. So with that romanch, he asked his Guru, give me directions, initiate me into her upasana. I want to worship her. Not that, oh, give me Sri Vidya so I can worship her, so I can get this, I can get that. You see the basic standpoint, I am filled with this. I don't know what to do with this. I cannot contain. It's like, kids, if you tell them, oh, we're going to go eat ice cream, the first thing they do is they start jumping in joy because they are so filled with joy thinking of ice cream, they cannot sit still. You cannot tell a child, you're going to get ice cream and expect the child to be like this. They are filled with joy. They want to jump in joy. When was the last time you felt like, I want to do puja because I cannot contain myself? That's the state Parshuramji Maharaj experienced. How? By Shravan. Listening, 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 listening. In my life, I could never wake up at 4 a.m. That was like the biggest challenge. During my college days, yes, I used to because I really wanted to excel. And after that, the only time I used to wake up at 3:45, 3:30, when I wanted to listen to the commentary on Lalita Sahasranam. I couldn't hold myself asleep. I would just wake up at 4, listen till 6, 6:30, then cook. While cooking, I would have headphones. While driving, I would listen. In between patients, I would listen. I'd listen. Because this quench to hear more and more and more about the Divine Mother would just not, this thirst wouldn't quench. And when people started asking me, can you please tell us the meanings of Lalita Sahasranam? I knew what they felt. I was there. When I would, translate Bhavani Ashtakam or Devi Kshamapan Stotra, Lalita Sahasranam, Shamala Dandakam, I knew what the other person felt because I was there. And then I would just continue to record. Then I saw, people were not really, they couldn't listen to all the 21 audios. It was too much. Oh, who's going to listen to 21 audios? 5 or 6, I get it. I'm good. Bhavani Ashtakam, yeah, I listened to it. I'm not narrating my greatness here, but I'm telling you that thirst cannot be quenched. I used to listen day and night, in and out. I would go for walks. Sometimes I would come back, I couldn't get up because I had walked so much. Because listening, I would just keep walking. Walking and shedding tears. Driving and shedding tears. Cooking, listening, shedding tears. If you ask me what sadhana I didn't wake up at 4 ever and start meditating. I could never do that. It's my biggest challenge. But listening is something, for that I did. I only listened and I shed tears. And that's the form of Bhakti Janani. That's how she cleanses you. Inner purification, the quickest way are tears. Because all the tears that we are supposed to shed for all the worldly matters, when even we shed one tear for Paramatma, one tear wipes off 10,000 tears that we may have to shed for worldly matters. I just shed buckets and buckets of tears for her. That's all I did. And that's all I know. It is the only way. You hold on to her feet and you shed tears. That's it. Everything else she'll give you. You don't have to go looking for anything. That's what Parshuramji Maharaj did. Sat there and shed tears as he heard. And then Dattatreya Maharaj said, Parshuram, seeing your tears, you have shed so many tears, I can see your chit is pure. You have achieved self-purification. Now it is the ripe ground for me to give you Shri Vidya. So I'm going to bless you with Shri Vidya. And he initiated him into Shri Vidya, the practices, which is Charya Khand. So first was Mahatmya Khand, wherein Dattatreya Maharaj described the glories of the Divine Mother. He listened, he heard them all. How? With throat that was choked, Gadgad Gira. Tears shedding from his eyes. And as if there was a blast of joy within, all the goosebumps all over the body. With that state, he listened. After listening was the Charya Khand, how to worship the Divine Mother. That was given to Parshuramji Maharaj. And then Parshuramji Maharaj was given the instruction, go, worship. Worship to your heart's content. Grace of the Divine Mother alone, O Parshuram, can give you Brahma Gyan. It is the grace of the Divine Mother alone. The fact that you listened to the stories of the Divine Mother and you were able to shed tears, Parshuram, that itself tells me you have the grace of the Divine Mother. Recognizing thus, she is giving me instructions to give you Charya Khand. It is not that I am giving you Charya Khand. It is the Divine Mother's grace herself flowing through me that you are getting this. And it is her grace alone that will give you Brahma Vidya. No guru, no book, nothing in these three worlds can give you Brahma Vidya. It is the grace of Tripura alone. It is the grace of the Divine Mother alone. And know that that Divine Mother that we are talking about is your own self. You know, we are so quick in reading Lalita Sahasranam, Trishati. We even claim, oh, I know Lalita Sahasranam by heart. I can read it. I can say Lalita Sahasranam even without looking at the book. That's the damn problem. The problem is the mind has gotten it. I know Lalita Sahasranam. I know Trishati. But in Trishati, Hayagriva Rishi says, Agastya, after listening to these names, don't forget the most important thing, which is Swatmaiva Devata Prokta Lalita Vishwavigraha. Agastya, listen. Swatmaiva Devata Prokta Lalita Vishwavigraha. Don't ever forget, Agastya, that your Swa Atma, your Atma is Lalita Devi, that you just heard the 300 names of. But the mind has this really funny way. I know. The moment you say, I know, drop it. It is such a joy to say, I don't know anything, Divine Mother. I don't know anything. I'm your child, like a newborn child. That reminds me another incident I may have skipped. When Parshuramji Maharaj, when Dattatreya Maharaj told about Tripura, before narrating the glories, he was telling about Tripura. In between, Parshuramji Maharaj, in between, when Dattatreya said, you see, the I is the Divine Mother, and this entire creation is her form. Parshuramji Maharaj said, I have a question. Before all these forms outside emerged, how was the entire creation within her? Can you tell me that? At this question, as soon as Parshuramji Maharaj asked this question, and the question was, this creation before it appeared as is, in which form did it reside within the Divine Mother? That was his question. As soon as Dattatreya Maharaj heard this question, he looked at him with a little bit of anger. And he didn't say, shut up. And he didn't say, drop that question. He said, Parshuram sthiro bhava. Which means, become stable, Parshuram. And then he narrated a story. He said, I'll tell you a story, Parshuram. There was once a person who used to make mats. He used to weave mats. He was very good at it. Eventually, his work was so beautiful, the king found out, and the king appreciated it, and in token of appreciation, he gave him a lot of wealth. And now this person who was working hard every day making mats was now a rich person. Didn't have much to do. He heard that someone was narrating Bhagavatam. He said, oh, let me go listen to this Bhagavatam. So he sat there, he kept listening to Bhagavatam. The stories and all he enjoyed. But in between stories, the person on the Vyaspeeth was also expounding on Vedant. He was saying everything is Atma, everyone is Atma, everyone is same. There is only one continuous existence. He heard it all, and at the end of those 7 days, he went and talked to this person who narrated Bhagavatam. He said, so, I really enjoyed the stories, but the knowledge you were saying everything is one. Can you repeat that for me? He said, yeah, sure. He said, everything is Atma, everyone is Atma, it's all one continuous existence. He said, oh, okay, alright, thank you, I know. So now this person stopped doing any kind of upasana, respecting his elders, taking bath. He dropped all. He said everything is Atma. Atma is untouched. No need to take shower. No need to do anything. Just eat everywhere, anywhere. Behave the way you want. It's okay. And then eventually, he was completely पतन जिसको कहते हैं, उसका पतन हो गया. Completely fell from all his good karmas and started leading a very, miserable life. So Dattatreya Ji Maharaj narrated this story to Parshuram. And he said, Parshuram, your state is similar. Don't think you can come and just question me what Brahma Gyan is and I will just give it to you. I'm not the one giving you this Brahma Gyan. This Brahma Gyan, this knowledge of the self, this realization, this self-realization is the grace of the self, is the grace of the Divine Mother. So, Sthiro Bhava. Now I am going to tell you the glories of the Divine Mother. Listen attentively. Don't be quick in questioning, Parshuram. Don't be quick in questioning. So then he narrated the Mahatmya Khand. Then when Parshuram Ji Maharaj said, I want to worship her because this joy within me doesn't know an expression, show me the way to express. Then he was given Shri Vidya. So if you look at Parshuram Ji Maharaj's journey, he first gave up all of the worldly attainments. Doesn't mean we need to just donate all our property and everything and go. Attachment is what he gave up. Who can give up what? Nothing belongs to us anyway. But this false sense of attachment that we have, that is the first problem. So he first gave up all the attachment to his worldly attainment. Then he gave up all the punya karmas, stripped off completely of his anger, his punya karmas, his worldly attainments. He first met Samvrit Rishi. So that satsang, that satsang, that association with Samvrit is what brought him here. So then Parshuram Ji Maharaj went away for 12 years. Those 12 years, he worshipped the Divine Mother. He worshipped her with joy and gratitude filled within. Unable to contain it within himself, he would worship the Divine Mother as Abhishek, as Mantra Jap, as meditation on her form, as chanting. All of those kriyas that he did out of not knowing what to do with the joy that contained within him. Instead of just letting it, he channelized the expression of the inner joy as upasana. And then he returned after 12 years. How are we with time? Oh, sorry about that. So with this, we will end today's satsang. We have a lot to think about. We will continue on with our self-reflection. So what is Tripura Rahasya Sadhana Pad? That is the name of our WhatsApp group. Tripura Rahasya Sadhana Pad. It is about self-reflection, self-contemplation. We all have been reading the self-reflections of each other, which is truly blessed. Now I want to read Swamiji's post. So this is Bondage of Beliefs, and I will post the link again. Either you can find it and follow along or just listen attentively. At some point in our life, each one of us aspires to be free from all kinds of shackles. We imagine ourselves in that freedom that will be blissful, happy and fulfilled. Don't we all think about the weekend? Oh, the weekend is going to be coming soon. I'm going to be free. I'm going to relax. Or then we start thinking about retirement. Man, once I retire, I'm going to be free. I'm going to be blissful. So we imagine ourselves in that freedom that will be blissful, happy, and fulfilled. We'll be leading a life of meaning and purpose. Once I'm done with the kids and education and all that, I'm just going to spend my life doing random acts of kindness. We will be leading a life of meaning and purpose. That is not necessarily freedom from the people around us, but how and what we feel in the present moment. I was in a discourse, and it was Swami Tejomayanand. He asked, everyone think of 3 things. If that happens, you'll be happy. Everyone thought about it. The common thing was if. If this happens, I'll be happy. If this happens, I'll be happy. Once this happens, I'll be happy. And that stuck to me because he said, your happiness is conditional. You have put conditions to being happy. How many of you can raise your hands and say, I am happy now? That's what Swamiji is talking about. This is not necessarily freedom from the people around us, but how and what we feel in the present moment. As the British novelist said, man is a creature who makes a picture of himself and then comes to resemble the picture. Haven't we all made a picture? Oh, I should be a good person. I should be a good mother. My son should do this. My husband should do this. We should have family vacations. I created a picture. Then I'm constantly trying to fit my life in that picture. Oh wait, this is off. Expectation. Let this be like this. Oh, this is off. Oh, that is off. Man is a creature who makes pictures of himself and then comes to resemble the picture. Then he says we are forever doing one thing or the other to remain relevant in this world, to keep the frame together, right? We have this frame. Oh, we should go on vacations. This whole year passed, we didn't go on vacations. We didn't post our vacation pictures on Facebook. What are we doing? Because the picture says we are a happy family, we go on vacations together. Up to vacations cannot even be local. We go on international vacations together. We are forever doing one thing or the other to remain relevant in this world, to keep the frame together, to look like the picture we have of us in our minds. What does it take to shatter that frame and shift the focus from human doings to human beings? How many of us are really willing and courageous enough, fearless enough to shatter that damn frame and say, no, who says we need to go on vacations? Isn't all life a vacation? I'm able to breathe. I don't have COPD, chronic, I forgot. Anyway, so the fact that I'm breathing, am I not on vacation? But you see, when we go on vacation, let's say we book this beachside villa, right? We reach there at night. We can hear the sounds of the ocean. We cannot see the ocean completely. We are waiting for sunrise. That day we'll wake up extra early, not on a weekday, but that day we'll wake up extra early. Why? Because we are waking up to this beautiful, amazing view out of our balconies. We'll stand out of our balcony and we will see this vast ocean. We will see this resort, many people working, cleaning up, many beach chairs, umbrellas, swimming pools, and we're like, what a view. Do you know why we feel that joy when we see that view? Because we come there with no picture. We are just happy and we don't want to change anything. We're not saying, man, I wish this ocean was to this side and the pool was here. I wish that person was not working there, and I wish those umbrellas were pink in color. We don't have any problem. We are okay with blue umbrellas. We are okay with blue chairs. We are okay with the blue ocean. We are okay if the sky is cloudy. We are just okay. Hence, we love the view. Oh my God, what a view. It's $1 million view. The same thing when we wake up in our house. I have to cook now. Then I have to go to work. Oh my God, what a misery. Nothing changed. It's just the acceptance of what is has changed. What does it take to shatter that frame and shift the focus from human doings to human beings? How do we stop controlling every aspect of our lives and sometimes let the chips fall where they may? In other words, how do we liberate ourselves? And then he goes on to narrate the story. Then he says, somewhere we are all tied by the ropes of our desires and beliefs. How far we can venture out is limited to the length of that lasso. Truth be told, we only need to snip this rope to set ourselves free. This act of snipping, however, is not a sudden affair. And even when it is, one has to see it through with a persistent and prolonged follow-up of right thoughts and actions, which is exactly what we are doing in Tripura Rahasya Sadhana Pad. We have realized it's not a sudden affair. Every day some things keep springing up. Every day we need to drop. And he says, in my humble view, there are only two things needed to get past these limitations. First, habits. Second, perspective. He says, one definitive way to self-transformation is to write down the habit you wish to drop and make a deliberate effort to do so over the next few days, 40 days. So every day we are seeing, like Mansi pointed out, reflections from yesterday to today. If there is no difference, what was the whole damn point of doing a self-reflection? The self-reflection should bring up a certain aspect saying, wait a second, I've been doing this, like the expectations yesterday. When we start writing down, it is just so arrogant of us to have so many expectations from our loved ones. Now imagine their expectations. So the whole point of doing this self-reflection is to identify and remove. Identify, eliminate. Identify and eliminate. And then he says the art of breaking or modeling habits, however, requires willpower and the willingness to see the world differently and yourself differently, which is what Samrit Rishi was saying. Parshuram, someone showed me there was another way which was pleasant, and I went and I started walking. My job is not to show you how to walk on that path. My job is to ask you, are you ready? Do you want that other path? So a certain willingness. And then he says perspective. Samyak drishti. This is what Buddha says too. The cause of all problems, the cause of all suffering is lack of samyak drishti. Samyak is sampurna, a complete perspective of who you are and what the world is. He says most of what gives us grief stems from our perspective. And he says this is a genius sentence. In fact, grief is a perspective in its own right. What is sorrow to me may not be sorrow to you. So grief is a perspective in its own right. Pain and painful incidents can be real suffering though. Is mostly how I choose to analyze and accept my pain. Change your perspective and everything changes. Nazariya badal do, nazare badal jayenge. And then he says, as Einstein famously spoke, we can't solve problems with the same mindset that created them in the first place. So there has to be a shift in the way we think, in the way we perceive the world, in the way we perceive ourselves. A new type of thinking is essential if mankind is to survive and move towards higher levels. The idea is simple. We must change the way we think if we want to change how we feel and how we act. And then he goes on to say the easiest way to change the perspective is to be grateful. And then he says, such a compassionate guru. He says, but that doesn't always work. Just being grateful, okay, writing a gratitude journal doesn't always work. Then he says that leaves us the second best option, which is to expose yourself to a new way of thinking, which is what we are doing. Through Tripura Rahasya, we are exposing ourselves to a new way of thinking. We do so by challenging our beliefs and viewpoints with different, even contradictory perspectives. Don't be scared to challenge. Traveling, interacting with people from different backgrounds, reading all kinds of literature, listening to speakers, philosophers who present a fresh way of looking at life, modify our thought process and break our thinking patterns. I'll post the link on the group so we all can read it carefully, taking time. And the last thing, he always says something really amazing at the end. He says, discard one habit, one belief. You're off to a great start then. Formation of new habits leads to transformation of the self. And gaining a new perspective gives you a fresh pair of eyes to look at the world. Both are in your hands. You choose. So, I think we had an amazing session. Let's do Q&A. Please go ahead and you can either post your messages or just unmute yourself. It doesn't always have to be questions. If you want to add something. Anand, you have something to say? What a beautiful name, Anand. Nothing? Anyone else? Okay. We'll end the session now. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shantihi Shantihi Shantihi. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.